Hello, welcome to InfoHub. In our headlines, President lays out his agenda for UN Summit. Minister Gaskin dismisses statements made by opposition leader about economy. Ghana's first indigenous parliamentarian and others remembered for their contribution to national development. And feasibility study completed for the new Demerara Harbour Bridge river crossing. Stay tuned for the details of these and more. Thanks for staying tuned. I'm Natasha Smith, and now for the details. Ahead of his speech at this year's United Nations General Assembly debate, President David Granger outlined the areas he will address with Tiffany Rojas in Manhattan.
On Wednesday, President Granger will reiterate Guyana's commitment to the green state and the reduction of global warming when he addresses the UN General Assembly.
From the Guyana point of view, we are deeply concerned about the planet. That is an environmental concern. In the Caribbean, we know what happened with Hurricane Irma, we know what happened with Harvey, and we know that these catastrophes are the result of global warming. Guyana has committed itself to becoming a green state. Guyana has committed itself to contributing to the adaptation, the measures to deal with global warming and climate change. So our concern for the planet is real, and this is one outcome we're aiming at this 72nd session of the United Nations General Assembly.
The President said Guyana is ideally situated to ensure these commitments are honored. President Granger will also iterate Guyana's faith in the UN.
We want to see better governance, and we recognize that the United Nations is critical to governance as not as an enforcement agency, but I don't want to put it this way, but it's the conscience of the world, you know, and we feel that our participation in United Nations initiatives is important to the protection of people, to the reduction of poverty, and to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. As far as peace is concerned, again, the United Nations is critical.
UN reform is one of the issues addressed at this year's meeting. The organization was established after the Second World War. President Granger noted that it is time for a review of the structures that would have been appropriate then.
For InfoHub from New York, Tiffany Rojas.
Tiffany Rojas once again joins us to tell us that during the United Nations General Assembly, Guyana engaged several countries with the aim of increasing cooperation.
Bilateral and multilateral discussions are usually held on the sidelines during the United Nations General Assembly meeting. These discussions are critical for facilitating new and maintaining existing partnerships among the UN's 193 member states. Already, Guyana has engaged the president of Costa Rica. President Granger said Costa Rica is an important player in hemispheric relations.
In particular, we know that as a member, it's a Caribbean state, you know, a Central American state, what you call the Circum-Caribbean. And we believe that the voice of Costa Rica is one that is listened to in the hemisphere and in the region. And we feel that Costa Rica has a role in ensuring that the outcomes of controversies within the region and sub-region would be peaceful and, you know, would not result in any violence or disorder.
Guyana also engaged Malta in discussions relating to the protection of the environment, developing our tourism potential, and maritime issues.
It is a very important maritime state. As you know, it is one of the leaders in terms of the whole philosophy of regarding the ocean as being the heritage of mankind. And in that regard, you know, we know that Malta has a commitment to the environment, and we in Guyana want to intensify our cooperation with Malta because we are a low-lying coastal state.
On the sidelines today, Guyana will engage several more countries, including Curacao and Mauritius. During this week, Guyana will also engage the Commonwealth and ACP group. Reporting from New York for InfoHub, Tiffany Rogers.
Minister of Business Dominic Gaskin has dismissed statements made by opposition leader Bharat Jagdeo that Guyana's economy will collapse. Here's more.
Minister Gaskin described Jagdeo as being determined to destabilize the economy for political gains.
I'm saying that publicly. I think it's an important message. He tried early in the year to create panic over foreign exchange rates. He predicted 300 to 1 by the end of the year, hoping to get people to panic and create a crisis.
The minister responded to the opposition leader's claims at the launch of a locally owned business recently. Government is well aware of the state of the economy, the minister added. He advised that if the local business sector wants to expand and develop their business, now is the time to invest.
Our government insisted that there was no crisis and that we should not panic and start doing things that will harm our own economy. Today we see that there is relative stability in our currency. So let us not be distracted by Mr. Jagdeo and his followers who are peddling what I call fake bad news about our economy.
Minister Gaskin noted that Guyana's economy has been receiving raving reviews from overseas markets and will soon realize more investments. Guyana's economy is predicted to grow for 2017 by at least 3%. Gabriella Patram for InfoHub.
At the reflection on the life of Stephen Campbell on Monday evening, several indigenous Guyanese, including Campbell, were remembered for their invaluable contributions to national development. Seneca Thorne has more.
The work and contribution of the late Stephen Campbell are today more evident, as they have impacted the lives of the indigenous peoples. Minister Sidney Allicock noted that Stephen Campbell opened doors for those that followed, and he must be recognized for his sacrifice.
Stephen Campbell opened doors for those of us who followed, those of us who believed in the recognition of indigenous peoples. I think sometimes we take things for granted and we do not give enough recognition to those who have sacrificed, those who have seen it fitting to lobby for others who are to follow.
Minister Garida Lowe said that the annual event also highlights the persons who have led the way for indigenous peoples to be recognized nationally.
He opened doors for all of us, for the Vice President, for myself, for former ministers, and of course all our university students and honoraries. He has opened many doors, and for that we're thankful.
In September 1957, Stephen Campbell became the first Indigenous Member of Parliament in Guyanese history. He is widely recognized as a hero by the Indigenous people, and his achievements are celebrated every year as part of the Indigenous Heritage Month. The ministry also honored other Indigenous persons who have contributed to community development. Seneca Thorne for InfoHub.
Zanil Williams tells us that the final feasibility study report on the new Demerara Harbour Bridge river crossing recommends that a lower bridge with 3 lanes be constructed, linking Houston to Versailles.
The current 2-lane steel floating bridge connects the east bank at Peters Hall with the west bank at Mears-Organ. Some 20,000 vehicles use the bridge each day. Over the years, the traffic has increased annually by 5% according to the Ministry of Public Infrastructure. As a result of limited road capacity, an increase in traffic and countless maintenance works, a feasibility study was launched by Levance CSO. The completed study recommends that a low bridge at Houston Versailles with 3 lanes and a movable section to transit seagoing vessels is the best solution. The location was recommended because of its low investment cost. The bridge shall be designed with a minimum clearance of 17.5 meters above chart datum to allow uninterrupted passing of trawlers. This new 3-lane bridge is designed in such a way to have a double lane in the direction of peak traffic and 1 lane in the other direction. It was also recommended that city road networks be improved and extended to serve the present and future traffic demands.
The project cost of the low 3-lane bridge between Houston and Versailles is estimated to be US $170 million. This sum includes interest for pre-financing costs during construction. Zenil Williams for InfoHub.
Santa Artac residents are on a mission to develop the serene indigenous community's tourism potential. I recently spent a few days there. Led by Tushar Aubrey Samuels, life is very simple for the 3,000 persons who call this community home. Santac Tours started in 2013 when the community received a grant from the United Nations Development Fund. Some of that money was used to construct a guest house, and since then there has been some progress.
Our package includes transportation from Tamari to Santa Mission. And when you reach the Santa Mission, you're greeted with refreshments. Then you take a tour around the village, and then you come in for lunch.
Persons are then treated to a cultural activity and swimming before being served refreshments prior to departure. A day visit usually accommodates up to 8 persons, however couples and small groups can also visit. Santa Artac's main attraction is its people. They are friendly, welcoming and hospitable. Other attractions include the beautiful black water, scenery and the traditional way of life still practiced by the residents. There is also a village monument of former Tushaus and a craft shop where tourists can purchase a wide range of indigenous art and craft.
In here, most of the craft, they're made from women within the village, within the community. And they're basically lots of stuff like handbags, hats, trays. We have like placemats, table mats, arrow bows, different stuff.
I would like to say to persons who never visit Santa Artac reservation, if you're welcome to come and you want to stay overnight, we have a place for you. It's like when you stay with us, it's like you're at home. And we have wonderful cooks, especially in the indigenous cuisine. Excellent. You want to have a taste of living among the Amerindians, especially Santa Artac, you come.
The community is 25 miles from Georgetown to Tamari, and visitors can travel by boat through the Kamuni Creek to the mission. It is the closest indigenous community to the city. And we close this evening with scenes from the Guyana Needs Assessment Team's visit to Tortola in the British Virgin Islands and St. Martin, which were devastated by Hurricane Irma. Thanks for watching. Remember to connect with us 24/7 on our website and social media. Goodbye.